We talked about a couple of brush settings before, like size, opacity, but in our brush settings folder, we can access so much more. There it is, hiding up at the top. We can access not only hardness, the size, but we're given a range. There's our library of brush presets. We're given a range of so many things we can change regarding a very simple brush that we can use. There's hardness. One of the first things that I like to do is to test out. Whenever I change something, I usually test out the brush and then I undo it. I love changing the spacing setting. Notice that all of these brushes are basically spaced out shapes, right? Notice I space this out so much that it becomes a dotted line. And if I decrease that spacing, it becomes a solid line. There's the hard version of that brush. And all I'm doing is just testing out the brush, undoing, Command Z, playing around with things. And again, that's all I'm doing is exploring. I'm going into shape, something there, I can't read it. Shape dynamics, probably. I can change the jitter. Notice what happens when I change the jitter. Jitter basically means randomness. How much randomness am I getting into the size of that brush? So you can see that if I space this out, you can see how much that jitter, that size jitter, plays into this brush now. And again, just testing the brush out. It almost looks like an undulated, like amoeba type form. And I take that size jitter down. I'm even changing the angle, but in order for me to change the angle, I need to change the angle of the brush. Notice I changed it from a circle to an oval or an ellipse. And now watch what happens when I change. I haven't changed the angle, I changed it back. But there's that brush, and when I change the angle jitter, notice what happens to those ellipses. Now it almost turns into like this really spiky brush. It almost reminds me of rock candy in some way, or like a crystal formation in some ways, or coral. There's another type, I think that's roundness, that I'm changing there. Or minimum size, I can't remember. But anyway, play around with these adjustments, test them out. That's going to be your task today, is to play around and adjust these as you see fit. And just to test them out and show us what you did. I'd like for you to test a couple of out and show us how you document how you what you changed in the brush settings. Here I'm changing the scatter option and count option. Be careful with the count, because the more you increase the count size, the slower your computer goes, I have found. And I've crashed many a Photoshop doing this, so be careful with that count slider. Here I'm playing around with the color dynamics. Color dynamics is great, especially the hue jitter. Remember, jitter is randomness. Every time you paint, it will skew that color along the color wheel. So if you have it a high percentage, the more it will edge toward around the color wheel further from your original color. So I picked an aqua green. That's my foreground color. The higher I change that percentage, the more variables I'll have with that color choice. Notice I'm getting all the way into the yellows. I wanted to show you this on an actual color wheel in our color picker there, in our color panel. And I want to see and show you what that looks like. There I picked a smaller increment. Notice I'm staying in the blue-green range, some yellow-green, but the higher I go here, notice that the further I get away from that aqua green, there's some more yellows, there's some almost violets there. Let's look at a color wheel here. And you can see my original color, and look at how far I got from that original color based on the increase of my jitter. So if you want to stay in a range, like an analogous range, colors that are next to you, don't go to a high percentage.